Hi parents, it's Kristen Lascola, the junior high pastor here at North Coast Church in Fallbrook, and this is your weekend recap. As many of you know, we have our Starving to Serve event coming up this coming weekend, and if you're out of the loop, this is where students are going to fast for 30 hours, and the point of this is to be able to empathize with those that don't have the choice whether to eat or not. And the purpose of it is to raise money for two things. Number one is Outside the Bowl Ministry, which they provide soup kitchens that serve thousands of meals a day to third world countries. We've helped with the one in Haiti before. This year it's going to be Tijuana, so right in our own backyard. And the other part of the money is going to go towards North Coast Church Community Service, which we do a ton of. So none of the money goes to North Coast Church itself. And students are supposed to get sponsors um, for the fast to go towards these things. We're going to have a big celebration this weekend. It's going to be a blast. It'll be at our Vista campus at 6 p.m. on Friday. And so what we talked about this weekend had a lot to do with that. We talked about Matthew 6:16 through 18, where Jesus calls out the Pharisees on the way that they fasted. And they loved to make a big production about it and go into the marketplace on the busy days and, look so miserable and dirty and tired. So people would say, oh, they must be fasting. Oh, they're so holy. Oh, my goodness. And Jesus says to them, well, if that is your motivation to get praise from other people, then that is all you're going to get. And, I'm not going to reward you, but if you do your good deeds, if you fast in secret, then I will reward you openly. And we just talked about the whole idea of the motivation behind why we do good things, and that it's never about us, and it's not about us trying to get attention or, for people to think we're really great or seeking, glory for ourselves, because Jesus calls those people hypocrites, and he says, well, if it truly is for me and not for other people, then don't even let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. And we even talked a little bit about, well, what is fasting? Because, a lot of us don't do it regularly, but it's, that spiritual hunger strike of, going without food and sacrificing things of this world to let God know that you're serious about something, that you want him to move, that you need his help on something. And so, Jesus doesn't say if you fast, but he does say when you fast. So although it's not commanded, Jesus kind of just assumed it would be a part of our spiritual life. And so it was kind of an interesting thing to talk about with the kids because, a lot of us don't make that a normal practice, but for them to get a glimpse of, well, what does Jesus think about fasting and what was the purpose of it? What's the right and wrong way to do it? So talk to your student this week about Starving to Serve if they're participating. Or if they're not, maybe talk to them a little bit about maybe they can participate next year, or, just there's a lot of statistics that we talked about in junior high about people that are hungry or whatever, and maybe they can think of another way to help since if they're not participating in Starving to Serve. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.